Hello friends, welcome back to another build video. Before we get started, I want to say another huge thank you to EA for access to the new kits. Today we're doing things a little different. We're going to do a bit of a speed build here. I started this build while I was on stream yesterday, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just knew I wanted to use just base game and the two new build kits that we got, Restoration Workshop and the Kitchen Clutter kit. I started off going, I'm going to make such a cute little house. It'll be just something tiny. And then at some point I was like, wait a minute, I have a more fun idea. What if we made it into a fixer-upper? The main reason I came up with that idea was one, because of the Restoration Workshop kit, we have these appliances that need to be fixed. So I really wanted to use them. I needed a reason to use it in a cute, nice looking house. And having these like really old appliances that are all worn down and rusty just didn't make sense to have in like a cute house. And also another reason I decided is because while I was roofing, I realized I may have built one of the ugliest houses I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why I was struggling to roof this house so much. I definitely could have done better if I took my time, but I decided to just change some things around, make the house ugly, make it a fixer-upper, and then let the community fix it up, and also do my own rendition fixing it up as well, and actually restoring the appliances that are in there with the Restoration Workshop kit. And you can see exactly what I mean by struggling with roofing right here. I have no idea what I was doing. I haven't built, I guess, like a nice looking house that wasn't a challenge house in quite a while, so I guess I'm just out of practice because whoa, did I struggle with this. It was just not turning out how I wanted. I could not figure out how to get the pieces together, but in the end, I don't think it looks absolutely terrible. Definitely a house that needs some work, but still a house and not whatever the monstrosity I had going on before was. I also thought it would be fun to do a fixer-upper and use some of the kitchen clutter stuff and some of those more worn down swatches from the restoration kit to make the house look like it just hasn't been taken care of. And a lot of stuff was left behind by the previous owner, including just trash. They left quite literally everything. And though this video is kind of short because it's a speed build, I have another video coming out as kind of a part 2 to this where I actually renovate the entire house. And it's a mix of building and gameplay. I had a single sim move into this house and then slowly renovate it with money they made through the woodworking table, restoring the old appliances, and even making furniture with the woodworking table for the house itself. If you guys want to do that same challenge using the fixer-upper house, feel free. It is up on the gallery for you. You can also just renovate the house as it is without having to do all that. I'm going to be doing tours of people's renovations of this house on my stream next Friday, May 9th. We're starting around 10:30 a.m. Eastern for stream. I don't know exactly what time we'll get to the tours, but I'd be happy to see what some of you come up with for fixing this house. Now it's not looking bad because I'm using some of the newer swatches that we got of windows for base game. They're quite nice. I use these all the time now, but I do change these over to an older looking window to try and make it look more run down and not taken care of. This already looks like a flipped house, and I wanted this to look like a messy house that needs to be flipped. If you do the renovation, you don't have to worry about like rules like a shell challenge. I'm perfectly fine if you want to like add an addition onto the house, expand these rooms a little bit, change around the floor plan, change windows, doors, roofing, whatever you need to do to make it look like a nicer house, just go for it. I just want to see what everyone comes up with using this as the main foundation of the house, I guess. Speaking of shell challenges, I also do a monthly shell challenge on my stream. I tour them during my first stream of every month and then build the new one for the following month. Our May shell challenge is up on the gallery right now. I'll be touring those on Monday, June 2nd around 10:30 a.m. Eastern time live on my stream. All you have to do to submit it is upload it to the gallery and use hashtag Ajiri shell challenge in the description. Usually we get like 5 to 10 people that do it, so I do tour everybody's. Here I'm just deciding if I want to do some landscaping. I added in a couple trees around the lot, and then later on I do add a little bit more landscaping as well, and we ended up doing some planter boxes. I wanted it to look really overgrown with like dandelions and weeds and like tall grasses that weren't supposed to be there because no one's been taking care of the home for a while. I left it very minimal outside with the landscaping though, because the main point of the build was to use the two new kits, so I didn't want to go overboard with landscaping. I just wanted to get to using the new stuff already. Along with the gameplay that I did in the second part of this one, which will come out this upcoming week, I'm thinking about doing a little more gameplay on this channel. If you guys have seen, Lil Simsy made a new legacy challenge called the Very Veggie Challenge, and I'm really interested in trying it. I've never done the Not So Berry Challenge, so I don't know if I should do that one first since it's much older. I think the Very Veggie one could be fun. It's a similar premise to the Not So Berry. It's just your basic 10 generations for a legacy challenge, and then every single generation has specific rules and a specific color. I tend to do a decent amount of gameplay when I'm live, but I haven't made a gameplay video for YouTube in quite a while, so I thought it could be fun to get back into doing that again. I do have a legacy challenge on here. That I've never continued, and I really liked the sim for that. Her name was Constance. She was so cute. I didn't even get past her generation. Like, we're still in the founder generation. We did not make it far at all. On Twitch, I have a 100 baby challenge going, a separate legacy challenge going, modded save. We have a lot of fun with gameplay on live. I just have trouble editing them into videos and knowing what to do for videos, but I want to do it more because it'll probably get easier with time. I also made a second TikTok account. So I had my Ajiri Twitch TikTok account, which I've been posting on frequently for years now. So I made a second one dedicated just to The Sims. So there's shorter versions of every single build challenge I do that are uploaded on TikTok, as well as shorts here. But I also have some other things like some just funny Sims videos. And for the part 2 that you're gonna get of this build, I'm gonna turn that into a short video on there as well, because I think it's quite fun. I had a lot of fun recording that one. And I truly don't think I've ever had a Sim save up enough money to renovate a house the way I just did. I was truly impressed with myself. I never make that much money on The Sims, ever. Granted, he had like only 100 simoleons left by the time I was done. That is the most simoleons I've ever had a Sim spend on like actually renovating a house. And I've renovated my Stream Legacy house like 10 times. I also wanted to remind you guys that my birthday and graduation is coming up next Saturday, and I'm going to be doing a stream marathon on Twitch. I'm going to be giving away Sims packs, kits, bundles, all of the above, and a Nintendo Switch Lite. So if you guys want to stop in, it's starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern next Saturday. I'm going to stream as long as I can each day with a maximum set. This way I don't like make myself sick or something. But I'll be live for a couple days until the timer runs out. And I'm going to be playing with my modded Sim save, doing a couple build challenges, my legacy challenge, 100 baby challenge, playing Stardew Valley. And I'm also going to be playing some other games like Repo with some friends. We're also going to do community games like Fortnite, Prop Hunt. So I hope to see you guys there. I'd love to play some games with you. Here's what I was talking about, trying to make it look a little bit like overgrown. I tried to use these flowers to look like dandelions, and then I used some terrain paint to kind of like muddy up the place, like all the grass is dead, because again, no one's been here to take care of it. And I had fun doing like a landscape flip in the part 2 of this that you'll see. I really enjoyed fixing up the landscaping, but still keeping it looking kind of the same. I kept all the trees where they are because I felt like that's something you wouldn't really take down. Something I did discover while doing this build that I was unaware of is that a lot of the rundown and like dirty looking swatches of things are not in base game. They're all in like City Living and For Rent and packs like that. But I did my best with this brick wall we have. We only got one paint from the new kits, and it is from the Restoration Workshop kit, and it's kind of like a garage wall. It's like a plain spackled wall. I just really wanted this house to look like one of those houses that's listed like as is, fire responsible for all due diligence and things like that. The ones that are super sketchy and you're like, yeah, you know, it's probably not in fantastic condition. It's probably falling apart and moldy and nasty. That's what I wanted this house to be. I think I did it. I just wanted to add some lights around the house outside to at least light up the porch areas. And then we got this water heater and fuse box with the Restoration Workshop kit, and they can break and your sim has to fix them. So I of course had to add those in because I wanted to use as much from the Restoration Workshop kit as I possibly could. And it feels a little weird to have them outside, but I really didn't know where else to put it considering how tiny this build is. It's kind of compact. But it was finally time to head inside, so I threw some lighting around. I used the same railing and fences that we used outside in here around this staircase, and I actually kind of built this in a little bit of a different way. I wanted it to be a little more open, and I hate having single space hallways, so I could not do that. I can't deal with that. I don't even care if they're functional, and it is my only option. I am not doing a single space hallway. I didn't like how this white railing looked, so I changed it over to a brown railing to match the stairs. And then it was time to paint. I went with the most old and like dingy looking wallpaper I could find, which was this one from base game. And then I added in some archways into the kitchen and living room. And then I used this same wallpaper throughout the entire house, minus the bathroom. I added some curtains that I felt looked a little old and outdated around the house as well. I like to imagine these are not beige. They're just so old that they've yellowed. There must have been like a buy one get one deal on these because I use them throughout the entire house. Like literally every single room has these, and the matching swatch for the back door as well. Then it was time for some flooring, and I wanted to go with something that probably smells moldy and disgusting. You can't really track down where the scent is coming from. And the one flooring that absolutely screams that for me is old yellowy like linoleum tile that we have and this old dingy green carpet. And then I went with some kind of rundown and aged looking hardwood flooring in the bedroom and the main area. And I went and put that linoleum tile up into the bathroom as well, so it would be a little matching. And then I wanted to put a light in the stairwell, but I didn't want to do anything really nice, so I did something a little weird and I put in this one from the Restoration Workshop kit. I really wanted to use that like single hanging light bulb that we have, but unfortunately I think that's from laundry day, so that was not on my options this day. It was finally time to do a little bit of decorating and furnishing. I added a door to the bathroom, a shower, a sink, and was trying to figure out this layout because I could not remember which side of the shower your Sims go in on, but I'm pretty sure I narrowed it down to being the side that has the shower head on it. I think It's a very cramped looking bathroom, but I think it works. It makes it look more like dingy and cheap, which I think is very important to this fixer-upper build because, well, it's got to match the rest of the house, which also looks very dingy and cheap, doesn't it? And I went with this old, really outdated tile as well on the walls. I went for the cheapest bed I could get that was still a double bed. Super uncomfortable, so your Sims are not going to have a good time and they're not going to be well rested at all while they're living here and renovating, but it's fine. I figured this industrial looking furniture was also a good option because it's kind of rundown looking, and I went with these lamps that kind of have a rusty, I'm saying like a lot, aren't I? I'm so sorry. They kind of have a little rusty, I'm trying so hard not to say like again, they have kind of like a little rusty swatch, it looks like to them. I went and added some of these nasty looking little like smudge marks and sawdust that we got. It actually is a rug that we got with the Restoration Workshop kit. I love things like this, just like little details to add in, like there's little oil spills, little smudge marks. I love the sawdust for like a garage or a shed as well where your Sim will be woodworking. And I put a small rug under our bed. I tried to find one that was in base game and affordable and matched the rest of the house, which was this one, unfortunately, which has this weird line in it that drives me crazy. It's like a little glitchy line. I gave a little reading area this way your Sim can have a little fun, probably read, get their handiness skill up, and have a little space to do it. It would be nice for them. I put a bookshelf over here as well because I feel like that's another necessity. I went with this wood looking one because I think it looks kind of old while still looking nice. And then I added a painting on this wall just to fill in the space. And it was time to move on to our living room. I wanted to go with an old looking couch, so we went with this old one from the tech career, which I still think is a very weird reward for that career. And then I went with the tiny little TV with antennas and continued with that industrial looking furniture for the TV stand and for the coffee table as well. And then I used the new herbs plant that we got with the kitchen clutter kit. I think this plant is so cute. I tend to do the little saplings that we have. I don't know what kit it's from, maybe Greenhouse Haven. I tend to do them in kitchens a lot to look like basil or parsley or something growing. So I like these little jarred ones. I think they're super adorable. It adds a nice little touch of realism, which I just like builds that are realistic, which is why I like dirty swatches so much. It makes your houses actually feel like lived in and functional rather than this like absolutely perfect, always clean, never dirty house that you'll have usually, which is why I like when they give us detailed things like these rugs, or like when we get scratch marks or like worn down brick patterns for walls, things like that in kits and packs. It's just like a touch of realism, which we need. We need more in The Sims. It was like when they added light switches, I felt like all my wishes had come true. Now I just need outlets. I want to put outlets around my house Sims. I also want doorbells, air conditioning vents for the walls, actual air conditioning units for outside too, not just the ones that are window mounted. I also love the clutter kits for that reason, like the kitchen clutter kit, getting the cereal boxes that are open, the used cutting board, things like that. It just makes everything feel so much more lived in. And I want more things that make The Sims feel a little more realistic in build mode. Like I know we have like remotes and things like that in debug that you could always go in and put on like a coffee table or something, but I wish we had an actual remote item and just little things like that that are typically live edit objects. I'd love to see more of those as actual items in kits and packs and things. Or hey, like added to a base game update someday also, maybe? Even though Golden Years isn't featured in this, it's one of the 3 new kits that just came out, so I'm gonna do a short little review of all 3 kits, including Golden Years. For the Golden Years kit, I do really like it. I like the style. It's very cute. I love that we now have more things for elders because they were quite limited before. However, I'm much more of a build mode person, so personally, I won't find myself using that all that often, but I will use the clothing in my legacy challenge for my elder Sims. As for the Restoration Workshop kit, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's quite fun to fix up the appliances. I wish there was more to it in a way though. You can't change the swatches of the appliances. You would have to go place a new one and restore a new one, which is fine, but I wish there was an option for your Sims to change the color while they're restoring it. Because if you change your mind about what color you want your Sims house to be, well, you better have them restore all those appliances all over again. Good luck. And the restoration does get easier, I feel like. While I was doing it, I felt like it got shorter as your handiness skill went up, so that's not so bad. I think I will use the build mode stuff frequently. However, the actual gameplay aspects of the pack, I don't see myself using very often aside from the woodworking table. But really, I'm just here for the build mode stuff. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of replayability to this unless you are consistently restoring stuff. And the restored items don't sell for more as far as I saw. I restored a fridge and tried to sell it, and it was the exact same price. It was still 500 simoleons when I tried to sell it, just like it was when I bought it, all beaten up and gross. It would have been cool for this to have been something that we could turn into a business, restoring old things. As for the kitchen clutter kit, this is the one I was most excited for, and I do love it. Again, as I was just saying, it's those little touches of realism, making the kitchen feel more lived in. It just adds a whole lot of life to your house, makes it feel a whole lot more realistic, and I'm quite pleased with this one. Even the swatches are cute. I do wish we got more green swatches, but that's just me, EA. I'm sorry. You guys have been feeding the green lovers lately, so I will not complain. If you're looking to buy any of these 3 kits, I would mostly recommend the kitchen clutter kit, especially if you're a build mode person. If you're more of a cast and gameplay person, maybe the other two kits are more up your alley. But from a builder, I would personally go with kitchen clutter if I could only choose one of these 3 kits. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you do decide to buy any of these kits, remember to use my code at checkout, Ajiri, Ajiri, if you're checking out in EA app or thesims.com, and I'll get a small commission from your purchase. There's also a huge sale still going on until May 15th. Tons of packs are on sale. It's the Sims Plum Bob celebration. Tons of huge expansion packs like Life and Death and Love Struck or Ren and Growing Together and others that are up to 50% off. You can use my code for checkout there as well, or any creator's code. There's a ton of us that have codes, so it's a good way to support your favorite content creator and help them keep doing what they're doing. I will see you all in the next video. I uploaded multiple times this week, so I'm not sure when the next video will be out after this. We have that part 2 coming for you of this build where I did the restoration. Again, this is up on the gallery if you want to restore it yourself. And then Wednesday, I'm uploading that 3rd and final part of our Every Room is a Different Star Sign challenge. But there may be more videos this week than planned, so keep your eye out and make sure you turn on those notifications and subscribe. But I will let you guys know through a post here and on Discord. And don't forget to leave a like and comment on this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. Stay happy, stay healthy. Bye bye.